Got dropped into a ghost story, still gotta work. By GM.
Chapter 3. In the midst of the chaos of a ghost story where people were dying, a survival ticket appeared. Just like in a movie. And it wasn't an illusion. If you take the lost item mentioned in the announcement, you'll be guided out of the station as soon as you meet the station staff. It was indeed a glimmer of hope. The problem was that the lost item mentioned in the announcement was absurdly grotesque. What did it just say? A male in his 20s. The left eye of a Type A male in his 20s. Go Yeonjun dropped her head, her face hollow. Type A must be referring to blood type, right? Yes. A heavy silence fell. Everyone seemed frightened already. Should I just let this go? If we get off at the right station, everyone can survive. If one person escapes early, the mood might get weird and cause unnecessary conflict. But things didn't unfold that easily. Still, wouldn't it be better to find it? Yeah, you never know what might happen. These new hires were so focused on the announcement that they couldn't just let it go. Let's see how this plays out. By the way, how old are you? Oh, I'm in my 30s. You look young for your age. Oh, and I'm blood type B, so I don't count. Same here. Everyone started checking to see if they fit the description of a 20-something male with blood type A. But no one matched the conditions exactly, and soon the question turned to me. Kim Solim SSI by any chance? I answered simply, I'm type AB. It was actually a lie. I'm blood type A. But there's no reason to reveal that I'm the target. If people thought I was trying to gain an advantage, they might misunderstand and refuse to listen to me later. I see, then what about you, Baek Sahin SSI? Wait a second. Suddenly, the person sitting across from me raised his hand with a serious expression. Actually, I fit the criteria exactly. Oh. He spoke in a rather grave tone, probably because he was worried he might die if things went wrong. He doesn't need to worry about that, though. And the reason he suddenly confessed became clear. This stop is Anger Station. The announcement for the next station had just been made. The station where the station staff would be waiting to collect the lost item. The new hire who had stepped forward looked tense. Is there no one else? Yes, it seems that way. Damn. Baek Sahin, who had been listening to the conversation next to me, sighed and then asked him. The doors are on your right. You said your blood type A. Why, yes. Too bad. And then a fist flew. A brutal, sickening sound echoed as Baek Sahin's fist mercilessly struck the left eye of the new hire who had confessed to being an A-type 20-something male. Baek Sahin had struck him with his smartphone, using the corner to hit his eye, as if he didn't care if it burst. And just as the person collapsed, without even managing to scream. The doors are opening. Baek Sahin leapt over the fallen man and exited the train. What just? LAGH. Who the hell are you? The others, too late to react, screamed in shock. Baek Sahin chuckled softly. You morons, if one eye is all it takes to escape, just do it already. It said we could get off the train. It seemed Baek Sahin had accurately understood the nuances of the announcement. If you found the lost item, please disembark at the next station and hand it over to the station staff. Even though there had been a hint to pay attention to the announcements, it was an incredibly bold move. Well, it's hard to expect that kind of reasoning from someone who expects others to take responsibility for their own survival. What? On top of that, Baek Sahin calmly continued his blunt remarks. It was as if he was certain no one would dare follow him off the train. And he was right. Everyone had already seen what happened when you got off at the wrong station. That guy. Go Yeonjun was so enraged that her face turned red, but for the first time I felt a sense of clarity. It made sense. His nickname was Viper. The portrayal of Baek Sahin in Dark Exploration records, it now made sense that it came from a personality like this. I thought he might be okay since he was a new hire and hadn't yet been corrupted by society, but it seemed this was just his natural personality. The doors are closing. Meanwhile, Baek Sahin waved towards the train with a smug smile, clearly pleased with his successful escape. Even if it meant giving up someone's left eye. That guy. But the thing is, it wasn't necessary. While everyone was focused on Baek Deoksu, I quietly reached my hand up to the luggage compartment. I definitely saw it earlier. And as I reached deeper, I grabbed something hidden in a blind spot like magic. I pulled it down to check. Inside a strange, portable lens case was an eyeball. And a label. Type A/female/27/R. This was another lost item candidate. A lost item isn't something you lose yourself. It's something someone else loses, right? In fact, this announcement was more of a treasure hunt, where you had to disembark with the lost item that perfectly matched the description from among a few candidates in the luggage compartment. There were even cases where people had randomly handed over what they had and managed to escape. So now Baek Deoksu is part of that statistic. But what if he found out he didn't actually have to sacrifice that guy's left eye? The screen door had already closed. As the train was about to depart, I briefly made eye contact with Baek Deoksu, who was turning toward the platform. I raised the lens case with the eyeball in it, making sure he could see it clearly through the window. I had covered the label, so only one thing would be visible. The eyeball. Through the glass door, Baek Deoksu's expression changed as he realized what it was. But by then it was too late. The train is now departing from Anger Station. The train began to move. I looked back at the new hire Baek Deoksu had attacked. Judging by the wound on his left eye, Baek Deoksu had tried to eliminate another, correct lost item besides his own. He must have thought only one lost item would be acknowledged. I couldn't blame him for trying to survive by escaping on his own, but he had crossed a line. I turned my head back toward the door. From far behind, I heard the sound of someone furiously pounding on the sliding doors. And faintly, in the distance of the departing platform, I thought I could hear the agonized screams of someone enduring a strange kind of pain. The lost item has been successfully handed over to the station staff. Chapter 4. One person had escaped the ghost story, but they did so with an eye gouged out. Who? Did you hear that? However, unlike the previous times, the passengers didn't show much pity, even though they were terrified and disgusted. Is this the result of violence without persuasion? The train became briefly chaotic as people checked on the condition of the person attacked by Baek Deoksu. This stop is Hatred Station. Hatred, huh? Huh? The announcement only deepened the gloomy atmosphere. Go Yeonjun, who had been looking after the new hire holding his injured left eye, stood up. Her face was dark. I'm almost certain his cornea is damaged. It's worrying. Are you in the medical field by chance? No, I studied it briefly in college but changed majors, so I never took the national exam. I'm not a professional. Go Yeonjun sighed and sat down on the floor, cross-legged. The doors are opening. The train doors opened, but people only glanced outside, not making any moves. They simply looked out cautiously. At the same time, they also glanced at me. It seemed they were waiting to see if I would suggest we get off here. At least they're paying attention. I had worried that Baek Deoksu's actions would make people more suspicious of each other, but instead, having a common enemy seemed to have calmed everyone down. It also felt like, given the madness of the situation, they were waiting for the next statement from the person who had spoken confidently earlier. In other words, me. It even felt like they might leave the decision of which station to disembark at to me. You must feel a bit pressured. Go Yeonjun spoke with a complex expression. People keep leaning on you. Oh, thanks. They're scared and anxious, so I hope you don't find it too exhausting or distasteful. Sorry. I'm scared and anxious too, which is why I'm trying to lead everyone. I've been trying to think things through in my own way too. Oh, I see. The floor is open to opinions. In fact, I welcome them. What have you been thinking about? Well, I've been pondering what you said earlier about the final destination. Go Yeonjun lowered her voice. If it's the final destination for a person, could it be death? Isn't that what marks the end of human life? The more I think about it, it feels like that's what it means. So I was wondering if we should get off when we see a word like that. Oh, but then I thought, would that just mean we're going to die peacefully? So I couldn't say it for sure. No, that's a very convincing thought. Is it really? Yes, however. I trailed off, and before I knew it, I smiled slightly. It was because I had just seen the name of the next station on the display. What does the term destination really mean? What? If you look it up in the dictionary, a destination is defined as the place or goal someone is trying to reach. And the theme of this train is very straightforward. Sit down, find the lost item. The instructions are given clearly and without twists, and if you follow them, you stay safe. Even those who got off at the wrong station died in a very straightforward manner. So I'm approaching the term destination in the same way. I believe that the destination mentioned by this train refers to a place or goal that we, in our current state, haven't yet achieved or reached. If you think about it that way, the criteria for choosing the right station become very simple. Something I don't have. If we apply this logic, we can reinterpret the previous escape cases as well. One station's named after colors like red, yellow, blue. Two-person escape success, attempt, blue station. Two stations named after body parts like left arm, cornea, heart. No recorded escape success, attempt, cochlea station. Three stations named after serial killers like black, 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 black. 12-person escape success, attempt, black, black, black station. Four stations named after years like 2008, 2012, 2016. No recorded escape success, attempt, 2024 station. Five stations named after illnesses like asthma, stroke, glaucoma. Three-person escape success, attempt, cold station. At Blue Station, the people who escaped were likely those who had nothing blue on their bodies or belongings. And it makes sense that the station named after serial killers had many escapees. No one in the train would have been one of those serial killers, so almost every station would have been the correct choice for them. On the other hand, stations named after body parts, the likelihood of someone missing a body part is lower, which is why they failed to escape. It's the same with stations named after years. Everyone had experienced the year 2024, which is why they failed to escape that time. If we apply this logic, it becomes clear which station we should get off at now. An emotion I don't have. So, we need to choose an emotion we would never feel in this situation. What? This is where it gets tricky. Most people have experienced all basic emotions like joy, anger, sorrow, and pleasure. Unless you're someone who lacks a particular emotion, it becomes very difficult to choose the right station. Even if the intensity of emotions varies, most people have felt them at some point. Therefore, we need to choose an emotion that isn't expressed in degrees, but exists as a more neutral state. An emotion that conceptually exists, but is extremely difficult to fully experience. That's what we need to choose. This stop is Serenity Station. The announcement played. It's easy to think that this is just another ordinary emotion as a station name. After all, we often say things like, that person looks so serene. But it's a phrase we often use when describing others. It's rare for someone to describe themselves as serene. And it makes sense. The dictionary definition of serenity is to be without any worries or concerns. But can a person truly be serene, without any worries or anxieties? The chances of that are almost non-existent, especially in an extreme situation like this. This is the correct station. We're getting off here. I spoke confidently and without hesitation. I stood up immediately. The others, startled, stood up as well, watching me. We're getting off here. Yes. I then approached the injured new hire, who was clutching his eye, and helped him to his feet. I'll help you. Thank you. As I led the injured person toward the door, the others instinctively followed. No one could back out now. We're all getting off together. Good. If we all escape together like this. The doors are opening. But outside the open door, there was a sea of blood. No way, this is over the line, what the hell? Dear fuck almighty, save me. Kim Solium SSI. I almost hid behind Go Yeonjun. But my last shred of dignity as an adult stopped me. Instead, I awkwardly turned my head and looked at the others. Are you sure this is the right station? Yes. It definitely is. But I couldn't think of any fancy words to convince them to get off. Actually, I didn't want to get off myself. I wish someone would convince me that we didn't have to get off. Please, someone. Excuse me, I still think we should get off. Go Yeonjun. You're the only one who's been certain of your decisions. Everyone else is scared, but you've stayed calm this whole time. Me? That guy earlier tried to get off on his own, causing all that chaos. At least I'd rather listen to someone kind. I'm getting off. And with that, Go Yeonjun bravely stepped out of the train first. On the rusted platform, the eerie lights flickered, and liquid dripped from the exposed pipes above. Blood dripped onto Go Yeonjun's shoulder. Ha ha. Kim Solium SSI. Don't worry about me. I believe in you too, let's go. The injured person I was helping urged me forward. Maybe they thought I was hesitating out of concern for them. Honestly, I was starting to get confused myself about whether I was grateful or resentful. In any case, I naturally followed Go Yeonjun off the train. The others, still hesitating, eventually followed as well. At least I wasn't the last one off, which was a relief. It's easy to overlook, but being the last one is the scariest position. At this point, I just want to abandon myself. Should we head up the stairs? Yes. Even in this situation, Go Yeonjun yelled toward the other train cars. Hey, get off, this is the right station. I wasn't sure how effective it would be. Some might have been too wary to get off, but... Still, if even one more person gets off because of that, we're saving them. I have to admire her. No, I'm really trying to focus all my attention on admiring her right now. Helping the injured person was definitely a good decision. Whenever my focus started to waver, I instinctively stopped myself from panicking. I recommend it to all cowards, though I doubt many cowards would ever be in such a ridiculous situation. Let's keep walking. I tried my best to avoid looking at my surroundings as I walked with the group. I saw the stairs ahead. Talisman-like symbols are plastered all over them. Realizing that even the stairs looked far from normal sent chills down my spine, but I'll just focus on the feeling of going up. One step. Another step. I walked quietly. Soon I felt my vision blur slightly, and then... Congratulations, new employees. Suddenly, we were back in the lecture hall. The bright lights. A modern, comfortable, spacious room. Reality came rushing back as I looked at the large screen in front of me, where bold text had appeared. Congratulations on completing your probation period. Congratulations. You have been officially hired to the field exploration team of Daydream Inc. The people who had escaped with me collapsed into chairs, their legs giving out. I turned my head and counted. 1, 2, 3, 7. Everyone who had been in our car survived. We made it. From the ghost story Welcome to Abyss Transpo, 7 out of the 10 people in our car escaped. Now it's time for the gift awarding ceremony. Chapter 5. What happens when a new hire successfully completes their probation period, you ask? Usually there's a light-hearted celebration with a gift-giving ceremony. I didn't expect a major corporation inside a ghost story to be the same. Let's see, oh my, we have 22 successful candidates this time, everyone. Wow, I wonder what the HR department thinks of this. No one is curious about that. And I'm sure the other new hires sitting next to me feel the same. This is truly an amazing record. If this wasn't a case of miscalculated difficulty, you all are an elite group. Elites. The room fell into silence. The host cheerfully continued, unfazed. Shall we pick out the top elite among our elite employees? The top of this cohort from the field exploration team. One of the fastest to complete the evaluation and escape, and the highest scorer in the overall assessment. The host raised his hand. Congratulations, Kim Solium SSI. Me? Kim Solium SSI, are you there? The event won't end until the gift is presented. Tilda, come up and accept it. For real? Why though? I stood up since it would be foolish to stay seated after being given instructions. After all, we had just been stuck in a ghost story where failing to listen to announcements meant death. Ah, you're quick to get up. That quick comprehension will serve you well in our department. What a shame, such a shame. Was this a superior from another department? Somehow that made him even more irritating. I stepped up onto the stage and stood in front of the host. Come on, take your gift. What the host handed me was a sharp-edged paper bag. Inside the silver shopping bag, stamped with the Daydream Inc. logo, I could glimpse a plaque, presumably an official certificate, along with some other items. Don't feel too bad that there's nothing extra special for being the top scorer. I wasn't happy at all. I accepted the bag, nodding slightly to avoid glaring at the host, and began to head back down when. Take a good look inside. What? What's in? Now let's call the next new hire. The host was already calling out the next person's name on the mic, as if we hadn't just exchanged a few words. HMPH. I didn't waste any more time and quickly left the stage. After that, Go Yeonjun and the others who had been in our train car also went up to receive their gifts. It didn't mean much, but Baek Deoksu was called right after me. He remained seated next to me afterward, not saying a word. He didn't even make eye contact. Judging by how he was holding his left eye, it was clear he had returned the lost item. He'll figure out how to get to a hospital. Next up, Kim Ji-won SSI. As more names were called, some of the people receiving their gifts looked strangely disheveled, with odd gaits or unfocused eyes. Maybe they were stuck in the ghost story for too long. Even though we all seemed to regain consciousness at the same time in the lecture hall, there had clearly been a time difference between our escape from ghost story and now. The thought of how long some others might still be trapped made a chill run down my spine. At least I made it out, which is more than can be said for the other 78 people. Did everyone receive their gifts? Finally, the gift awarding ceremony ended. There was no audible response, but a strange tension and sense of expectation hung over the room. Perhaps we might finally be allowed to leave. To be honest, even I was hoping for that. It seemed like things should be wrapping up soon. However, this company doesn't hire all of the candidates who pass the probation period. Sometimes there are people who make it through purely by luck. No way. But Daydream Inc. is a company that never forgets the social value of fairness. Such probationary employees are penalized heavily in the final evaluation. The host didn't do anything overt. No dramatic snap of the fingers, no ominous glance, not even the lights in the hall dimmed. And yet, as I mentioned, freeloaders are always identified. People started melting. All around, several people began to dissolve, their bodies collapsing as if they were being smeared away. There were no screams or movements. Damn it! The person in front of me pressed their hands over their mouth to suppress a scream. I hurriedly turned my head away. But I had already seen it. They're gone. Of the 10 people from our train car, only half remained. Me, Go Yeonjun, Baek Deoksu, and the new hire who had been attacked by Baek Deoksu. Everyone else was gone. To the remaining 13 new employees, congratulations. You have successfully become full-time employees with excellent results. Not a single person clapped out of joy. In the chilling silence, one person, overwhelmed with panic, fumbled and stuttered. I'll resign, I want to quit. But the host remained calm. Oh, leaving such a great work opportunity. Come on, at least hear about the benefits before deciding. Behind me, Go Yeonjun shouted desperately. So can we quit after hearing about the benefits, without any penalties? Yes, absolutely. You can quit without a single scratch on you, Tilda. The host's words were smooth and confident. That's when I realized. It's here. The stick had passed. Now comes the carrot. The benefit I was expecting. Let me introduce our company's top employee benefit. The reason why, after going through such a crazy experience right upon joining, employees still stay with the field exploration team. Employee benefit. Wish ticket. Something appeared on the large screen in the lecture hall. A beautifully sleek crystal bottle. Plop. Inside the bottle, a strange liquid shimmered with multicolored ripples. It moved like waves. The colors, textures, and rippling patterns were so beautiful and strange that they gave off an uncanny feeling. Silence filled the room. Let's take a closer look, shall we? The host pressed a button, and the screen lifted, revealing a table that had been hidden behind it. On the black table was the same dazzling bottle from the screen. The liquid inside the bottle shimmered on its own, reflecting the light in the room so brilliantly that it seemed otherworldly. It made you question whether such a thing could even exist in reality. You all know Daydream Inc. is famous for being a highly successful pharmaceutical company, yes. I mean, how advanced must our technology be if we even developed a cure for baldness? But in truth, our main product is something else. It's this. The host steadied his trembling hand and put on white gloves. Then, carefully picking up the crystal bottle from the table, he held it up for the employees to see. The name of this medicine is the wish ticket. And its effect is just as it sounds. When you drink it, any wish will come true. Don't believe me, but we have a whole truckload of your seniors and superiors who have taken this and had their wishes fulfilled. Allow me to demonstrate. The host tore open the packaging of the bottle and downed it in one gulp. Today's the day I was scheduled to receive my wish ticket. Ha. And in that moment, everyone in the lecture hall immediately knew what the host's wish had been. The instant he drank the wish ticket, the face of the host, who appeared to be in his mid to late 40s, rapidly tightened and gained a youthful, rosy complexion. His body became fit, and his hair grew back shiny and thick. He had returned. He looked exactly like a young man in his prime, full of energy and growth. Yahoo! The host, who now looked like a high school student, raised his fist in excitement. How about that, to put it simply, rejuvenation? Even his voice had grown young and youthful. A stunned silence fell over the room for an entirely new reason. It was a silence filled with disbelief. The host pointed at the new hires in the lecture hall. The field exploration team, your team, always gets great performance reviews. On average, they receive the wish ticket in half the time it takes other teams. In fact, the 10 employees who got the wish ticket the fastest were all from the field exploration team. Gulp. Someone swallowed nervously from somewhere in the hall. Of course, it was all wordplay. In reality, it was no different from hazard pay. Before those 10, dozens, maybe hundreds of people must have died. So it was more like bait, a shiny but deceptive promise. But still, there are people who have taken it. It wasn't a scam. Now let's take some questions. Oh, you there. One of the new hires quietly raised a hand and asked in a rough voice, "Can it bring the dead back to life?" It was a tall man with brown hair. Ah, you always hear that question in these kinds of stories, don't you? The one thing that can't be wished for. But, the host raised his hand dramatically. The wish ticket will grant any wish the drinker desires. Of course, as long as you use it correctly. For detailed instructions, please refer to the employee portal. The questioner fell silent again, but the unease among the new hires grew even stronger. The host didn't miss the moment. For other benefits, please check the screen or the pamphlet included in your gift bag, so, shall we make a decision? With a swift motion, the back doors of the lecture hall swung open. If you want to resign, please go to the desk outside and collect your paperwork. But if you've decided to stay with the company, the host gestured, put on the mask that's inside your gift bag. A mask, oh. So this is when they hand those out. You know how customization is all the rage these days, right? The mask is designed to express your unique personality. Well, this one doesn't have any special functions, though. That's all there is to it. I clutched my smartphone. There were too many eyes watching to check properly. But if I could access the page of dark exploration records, reconstructed by the memorial pop socket, it would probably show something like this. == Dark exploration records / Daydream Inc. Departments. Miscellaneous. Employees in the field exploration team wear masks while on field duty, which are distributed after the new hire orientation. According to Employee D, the design of the mask is determined by the year of hire. For example, agents with ant masks and agents with mantis masks are likely to have joined in the same year. == In short, it's a symbol of the Daydream Inc. field exploration team. I can't believe the day has come for me to receive this. It felt strange in many ways. Of course, 90% of me wanted to run out of here and throw the mask aside, screaming that I was quitting. Please just let me go. But even if I quit, this whole universe is a mess. The dark paranormal phenomena are already scattered everywhere. It's far too easy to end up as a background extra in a ghost story and have your life end in a rare and horrific way. It might be safer to work as an employee, collecting my paycheck, company gear, and ultimate reward while aiming for a department transfer. My survival chances might improve that way. Besides, if I want to return to my original world, that wish ticket seems to be my best bet. Anyway, there's no way a coward like me will survive long in this universe. Escaping this world entirely is the only real option. So logically, as painful as it is, if I choose the most reasonable answer, I have to join. As much as it kills me to admit it, there's no other choice. Damn. In the end, I swallowed my tears and opened the envelope. I reached in to pull out the mask. Something else came out with it. If needed. 10-150-32-4865. A business card. The space where a name and title should be had been whited out, replaced with scribbled text. Did the host put this in here? I looked around, but no one else seemed to have a business card stuck to their mask. I'll deal with it later. I slipped the card back into the envelope and pulled out only the mask. It was smooth to the touch, covering only until my nose, a basic mask in shape. The surprising part was that everyone around me was already attempting to put their masks on. Without a single exception. Even after all that, no one's running away. There was only one wild card. The wish ticket. Did they filter out only those who would risk their lives for the wish ticket? As I looked around the lecture hall at the silent employees accepting their masks, I felt a complicated mix of emotions. We're all about to do the same thing, after all. No choice, I guess. I brought the mask to my face. As soon as I did, the shape of the mask began to change. I could feel it stretching and becoming more uneven across my cheeks and forehead. I reached up and touched it. A mask with antler-like horns and a bizarre wood-grain pattern had formed. Wait, antlers. Reindeer deer. It looked too strange to just be a deer. Reluctantly, I turned to look around. Go Yeonjun, who was wearing a sheep mask, made awkward eye contact with me. Around us, other new hires, wearing masks resembling animals like elephants and goats, sat stiffly in their suits. They looked just as unsettling as you'd expect from employees working at a company that manages ghost stories. Once again, congratulations on joining the company. Clap, clap, clap. The slide on the PPT changed, playing a recording of applause. Employment confirmed. So it's come to this. Just as I was starting to feel overwhelmed thinking about my future with the company. Flutter. The notepad suddenly reappeared in midair. The same notepad that had spit out the Memorial Pop Socket merch earlier. Dark Exploration Records Real Merch Box. New merch unlocked.